There's an intro. There's an intro of me. You can swear, it doesn't matter. But there's an intro of me.
Fuck. Sorry, I just had to.
There's an intro of me where I go. Sav goes. Sav, so basically in that room, you can mute it, so like only me and Haytham wearing the headphones can hear. So it won't pick it up on the recording when Sav speaks sometimes. Mm-hmm. So he goes, right, I'm going to introduce it as 3-2. And I didn't realise he was saying like 3-2 as I thought he meant like 3-2-1
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes 3-2. And then it's silent. And I sort of turn to him and he goes, he's like that looking at me. I mean, I was waiting for one lad. Like,
Did you know when they filmed the first Die Hard film? You've seen Die Hard, haven't you?
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't seen Die Hard.
Oh my god.
I haven't, to be
Right,
fair.
okay, but in
So
I say you've seen Die Hard, you're both like, oh yeah.
He's got
To be honest, neither have I. But there's this fact where when John McClane, Bruce Willis, drops Hans Gruber, the villain, out of the Nakatomi Plaza, when he drops him, what's the actor's name? Alan Rickman, the guy who played him, is like screaming his head off, and he's going like, ah! And what happened was that they dropped him as like he did his own stunts, and they dropped him out of the building on like a massive harness, and the guy said, right, we're going to drop you on 1. And then they just went free and let him go. So his reaction is 100% genuine for him falling to his death.
That's amazing.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, Trove, introduce it.
Let's introduce. Hello and welcome to the Young and Naive podcast. I'm your host, Haytham. I'm joined today by my co-host,
Tyler. Hi, welcome.
and
Hello,
our
Tyler.
guest, Sean.
I'm Sean. Hello, everyone.
Well, it's great to have you, Sean.
I'm
It's
feeling quite young and naive today.
Yes.
We, the three of us go way back,
way
to
back.
say.
Yeah. Since we were like 7, 8.
I'm young. Well, me and Sean younger.
Yeah,
Since we were 4.
Yeah.
And then you started
You joined in.
I joined in year 4.
You fell into the wrong crowd.
He fell into the wrong crowd. Now he's stuck with us.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
You were 6, 7?
I was 7 when I came to this country, but I turned 8 like a month after.
Yeah, because you joined near the start of year 4, but we had been year 4 for a little bit. Because
couple
I
of
was
weeks.
assigned as your
Carer.
buddy, I had to like wipe his ass and everything.
Oh, it was nasty.
Yeah.
I don't remember the teacher saying you had to do that.
No, I didn't have to.
Fuck, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was ages ago now.
That would have been
2011.
13 years ago.
fucking hell, 12 years ago.
Something like
Yeah, I've known you guys too long.
Too long.
Yeah.
Too long.
that. Way too long.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of weird. Like, for me, at first, it was the culture shock. With like,
How different England is.
Yeah, because
How shit it is.
Shit.
I mean, well, yeah, it was shit in its own concepts, like changing in front of everyone.
Well, no, you didn't.
Well, yeah, because I was fucking like, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why
It
are
was
they-
just normal for
why-
us. We used to just like swing our knobs about in swimming, being like, "Oh mate, look at this."
I was so confused. I was like, why the fuck are they gonna fuck me? Like, what's going on?
Harry, can we do? So you just went 1, 2, 1,000, mate. There's about another 998
What do you
steps in the middle.
expect?
You
What
thought
do
you
you
thought
so you-
were gonna mount.
What was I? What did you want me to? Don't tap the fucking table, bro. What do you expect, bro?
I don't know. Probably get changed like the rest of us.
Get changed in
Mate,
your-
we
go
didn't even know
swimming.
what sex was.
Bro, in Saudi, in Saudi,
What, they fuck you when you get
no,
changed?
you'd come into school with your like PE or we didn't even have swimming back like in Saudi, but you'd come in. Fucking hell.
Right, we're gonna have to cut that already. I say the first 5 minutes just.
But you.
Welcome back to the Young and Naive podcast.
I'm feeling quite young and naive at the moment.
Jesus. But I mean, yeah, we would like come into school with our like PE stuff and everything. So we're
What?
So you-
Just,
what,
just
like,
like
under-
wearing it under your.
under the tub, yeah, like the white robe.
So it's like whenever you had to do
If I
PE,
had-
it was just off.
You
and
just
then
like-
Just throw it off.
Go.
Put it
Like,
in
su-
your bag,
like
let's go.
Superman.
Yeah. Just an
yeah,
Arab
exactly,
one.
exactly.
Exactly like
It's an Arab-
Superman.
Arab Superman, yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it was so weird when I came to this country. Because I remember the school, like, I was Alabama school.
Nice save.
To be fair, we are very clearly in Alabama right now.
Clear. A great save.
To be fair, my hat says I'm from Luckenbach, Texas, which isn't Alabama at
It's
all.
close.
But
We move.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and on
we
the
move.
back of it actually says everybody's somebody in Luckenbach, and it belonged to a man called Reese
Forrest Gump?
Baxter.
Respect stuff.
Yeah, that's what it says on the hat.
Well, we went to Alabama school when I was
Yeah.
younger.
I remember getting assigned to your table, and
Assigned.
assigned, yeah.
Yeah, you got the Mong table.
I thought I actually did back then. Like,
You did?
what did you expect, bro? I had two pasty white boys on my table. I had.
I wasn't on your table, like you know.
No, you weren't.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly, that's
you know
the
what
thing,
the
I
saying
wasn't.
is, pasty and frail never fail.
Jesus. But I remember getting assigned to that table, and obviously I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was just sitting there looking at.
Does anyone ever know what they're doing, though?
I would hope so. I don't.
Apparently, we had big orgies in the swimming room changing room.
I must have skipped over that. I might have been off that day, maybe, or something.
But it was such a it's a weird transition going from like a school.
I imagine such at a young age as well.
Yeah, bro, it was so weird because
Having to get adjusted, it's because it's like you grow up in Saudi up until 7, 8, and you spend that time obviously getting adjusted to the Saudi Arabian culture, and then all of a sudden it's like you're thrown in the deep end.
But the thing
I've said
is-
this before. Sorry, I said this before. I think you're more British in a way because you spent your main development years
Yeah.
here.
that's kind of
Is
like
that-
the thing that I have to accept,
So I think you are like culturally more British.
which is unfortunate.
In the
Yeah,
sense of
fucking
because like I said
sucks.
you have spent your prime development
yeah.
like behavioural years here.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, right? So just like one thing that's I'm gonna make very clear. Well, not clear, but like a distinction.
What, make it
between,
beige?
Right.
Bruh.
Sorry.
Right.
Like that.
That
That was
the
me,
word.
everyone. I'll see you later.
But I mean, like, and when I came to Alabama school,
God.
If you just say the score, it don't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't
but
matter.
I mean, like when I went to it,
In
one-
Alabama.
in Alabama, one thing that I was very surprised by that you don't actually have any students like
oh, there was
like
some students there.
watchers.
Oh,
student watchers. So we in Saudi we had scouts, like you know the scouts
What,
like
like-
yeah that kind of scouts.
you've mentioned this to me before.
yeah
Yeah.
New to
same
me.
room as well.
Hmm?
Same room as well.
Was it in this room?
Yeah, but I mean, so we had scouts running about in our school, essentially doing the teacher's job,
Oh,
which
right.
was kind of just like,
Why are you doing this?
there's no point to it, and they were very corrupt. I mean,
Yeah.
like, bro, they were fucked over there. The fucking
How old were you at this point?
6.
And you knew what corruption was at age 6?
Bro, they're terrible. They were terrible fucking.
Hey,
scouts,
from
bro.
like a little like rally of troops, like just sitting there saying like the system's
The
corrupt.
system's corrupt.
Revolution.
Capitalism's failed us.
Bro,
Revolution.
it was terrible because so one rule that they had in the school is that you have to leave like the building at lunchtime and break time.
I think that's the same with us, wasn't it?
No, but I mean no, but not if not
Yeah,
if you
no,
have like
yeah, we had-
circumstances. I mean, you wouldn't get fucking thrown out of the classroom if you were sitting there. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Well,
Well,
like physically
yeah.
thrown out.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't get physically thrown out.
If you told like, oh, sit
You
out
just
with your friends.
you just get like a
Yeah,
little
prompted
scolding,
to-
like a slap on the hands.
But then
a
again-
metaphorical slap
That's
on the
not-
hands.
But also, you gotta remember, we're getting thrown out at like what, like 40-degree weather. While you guys were getting thrown out to grass and flowers and a football pitch to play in.
Mate, you realise how hot it was over here when I was younger? It's ridiculous.
Oh, it was six
It's-
degrees, bro.
Oh
must be boiling.
The worst thing is being in Brighton is it's fucking freezing in the winter because obviously especially because we live
Right on the seafront.
right by the seafront, it's
Yeah.
fucking bitter. And so I remember like we woke up once and one of my housemates was like, oh my god, guess what, and I was like, what? And she was like, it's gonna be 3 degrees today, and I literally was like, yeah, fucking 3 degrees, come on.
Jesus Christ.
A win's a win.
Yeah, well,
Winds
it's
are
so cold now. I used to wake up in my bedroom around like November, December time, and
That's a long sleep.
and I could
Bessie Bear over it.
and I could like see like my breath or whatever, like in the morning, like in my room
Jesus
or whatever.
Christ.
Like it's
It's a big yellow
rancid.
puff.
Yeah, it was actually more of like a brown mist or whatever. I saw flies buzzing about and everything. It was mad.
Like a brownie red mist.
What the
God.
fuck are you doing like that? What? Smoke
I
signals.
don't know.
So, yeah, I don't know. Everything's. I suppose there's obviously different cultures and stuff that people have to get used to, and that. I mean, like
that wasn't even a fucking culture. I think that was just like spite.
Well, no, because you wouldn't get over it. It wouldn't really happen over it.
Yeah,
and if it did, the person who would be responsible,
it would be a
massive scandal.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be.
It's not like the norm
is,
or whatever.
Those were also. I think they were also students. I think they just had a different side to the school that they studied.
Students who'd like.
So at lunchtime. It's so weird. They actually worked like similar to the police. So they'd work in shifts around the school.
How old were these students?
They must have not been older than like 14.
Oh my god! So they were neeks.
Yeah,
Just losers.
Yeah.
The old Bill running around.
The old Bill running around at 14.
Yeah, they'd actually like have the the scout scarf and like the uniform and like the cap and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. They were just like park rangers,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, just wearing blue.
Oh.
They were wearing blue, like I don't know why, but like a light blue.
See, like the idea of that, like you said, like
It's
you know,
a
do
terrible
you remember like being in secondary at Alabama School Senior?
Yeah.
We went to Huntsville in secondary school, didn't we?
That was the one, and the name always escapes me.
Actually, yeah, why am I faking the name? I mean, not faking the name.
Yeah, why? Like.
Yeah, we're not going there.
No, we don't go there. We don't live there. Okay,
like-
so we went to Alsford Primary School.
Yeah.
And then
In
in
Alabama.
secondary school in Alabama, not in Essex.
Not in
And then in secondary school we went to this school called
the
Calm Community School,
Yeah.
which was no
Eh.
comment. No
It was a
comment.
school.
It started well,
Yes.
but then there was loads of issues upon the school, and
Yeah.
Like money embezzlement.
Yeah,
and
yeah, just a
like
tad.
a lot of affairs with teachers.
Allegations because we don't want to get sued.
Sorry. We went to a school whose name
Rhymes.
doesn't rhyme with Mulnimmunity Mall.
Is it a morgue?
What?
I don't know. It's just the ends.
Again, that's me, everyone. See you later.
Welcome back to the Young&Naive podcast.
I'm feeling quite young and naive today.
Jesus Christ. I think I've said the same thing as well.
So I just get one more out of the way. I'm feeling quite young and naive.
Throw it out there.
Yeah.
It's going to loop.
So how did, as someone who actually only really became aware of the podcast existence the other day through when I obviously came back to Malsford this week to visit everyone and find out about this podcast being started, how did it start to like form?
Well,
how did it happen?
I mean, they're very simple answer to that.
I'll let you answer this because I want to know your perception of how it started.
Why? I feel like am I going to get two very different stories?
I feel like you are. Go.
Okay,
Tell your
Well,
piece.
the thing is, fuck's sake, man. But I mean, we all did a podcast way back. You can search for that.
No,
around.
no, they can't.
No.
No, they can't.
Yeah, you can't.
No, you can't.
You
Yeah.
cannot.
Yeah, it's still up there somewhere, so you can
No,
find
it's
it.
not.
It shouldn't be. It
It's
shouldn't
not.
be.
It's not. It's not.
You can only see my face. I mean, I'll blur his and mine. But I mean, essentially, we did a podcast way back in the day that we didn't also do. But
Because I feel like, sorry, not to interrupt, but I feel like, you know how loads of people are like starting podcasts and that's a popular thing. I saw someone say, do you think that the thing of like, oh dude, we should start a podcast, that's
It's the
like
same
this
as the
modern
band.
version of like in the 90s when people would be like, oh dude, we should start a band or whatever.
I spoke
definitely
to
is.
Nick about a year ago, and he made that exact point.
Yeah.
It's like starting a podcast now is like the old version of Let's Start a Band.
Yeah.
it definitely is.
100% it is.
But the thing is, I think one of the big reasons we even started, if you go even further than the first podcast that we ever did, I think what we were sitting in somebody's house and we were just having a laugh.
I think it was my conservatory, wasn't it?
It was his conservatory.
Which
That
was the
was-
limsiest conservatory ever, by the way.
It was the first time we'd ever thought about like recording a conversation of ours, and then
We must have been 15.
15, 16.
50s, yeah.
so
It was
years
around about the
ago.
start of college.
college, end of secondary school. I
Yeah.
think it was
Which one
summer
was it? Volchester.
2019.
Yeah.
Volchester.
Volchester, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
But you're actually nearly 20.
Or what about LOL Chester?
Bro, he's actually almost nearly 20.
So are you.
Yeah, I know.
You can't say that like you're
I
not
know,
20
I know,
as
I know,
well.
but you're sat there going, no. Exactly. But Yeah. So you were saying. So obviously
so-
we recorded
so-
conversations.
So we were literally just sitting in his conservatory, just talking, having a laugh, and I can't remember who actually started it off.
I think it might have been you.
It
I
could
think
have
you
been-
might have thrown out the idea of recording
It could have been you. It could have been somebody's name, that second name that started with Z.
Yeah,
or
he
it-
might have made it.
Or it
So
could
this
have
is the idea.
been.
No comment.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been my idea because I was a bitch back then.
Back then.
Hey, yo, what are you doing? Give this shit back, motherfucker. Bitch.
You're gonna
But
be-
I mean, like with a lot of it. Actually, no,
Like, he's hardened up since you've been gone.
But I mean, like, I want to say that it might have been.
I want to say it was yours.
Your idea.
I'm not. I'd say don't quote me on it, but I think it was your idea.
Okay.
So I think,
I'll take the credit.
but though you might have taken the credit for that. I think
You just said it was my idea.
shut up, let me continue. But I mean, like, I think initiative, motherfucker. Initiative-wise, I think I took the initiative in recording it.
Yeah, no, you were the one. No, yeah, you were the one. Like, I'll record.
Yeah.
But you've always been like the one to go. Yeah, I'll do it. You know,
I've always been
yeah.
the techie guy.
Hey, yo, what are you saying?
mate. The Wizard setting all this stuff up. I was just watching you do it. I said I knew. I put the mics on the
How
stand.
is that an insult? I'm literally
dunno,
saying you're good with technology.
I thought you were calling me tacky.
Tacky?
No, I said
Techie.
techie. There's
Techie.
two. There's two ways you can get. Like, you can either say that you're very good with technology,
Or techie is not you're good at
or you're a
something.
wizard at football, and it's certainly not that one.
But I mean, like, alright, moving forward, like, so we recorded the first one. I think that's something that we really liked. Like,
Because we listened to it.
and we found
like,
it fucking amazing.
I was in stitches listening to it. I thought it was
Have you
really
listened-
funny.
Have you listened to it recently? Motherfucker, I sent it to you.
Mate, I can't bring myself to listen to it.
mate,
Not out of any like
It's-
negativeness.
Mate, it is horrendous.
But it's funny as
It is funny.
fuck.
It is funny, but
It
it's
is
horrendous.
amazingly
It is
funny.
horrendous.
But I mean, like,
It wouldn't stand.
oh, right now.
wouldn't- yeah, it wouldn't
right
stand
now would be,
nowadays, no,
like,
it wouldn't
we
stand.
won't even be, our face,
Well, we
my
were-
face would
we
be
were-
on here.
Young and
Young and
naive.
naive.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
I was young and naive once,
Swings and roundabouts.
mostly roundabouts.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, after recording that, we tried to do another one, but nobody ever found the time. And until me, you, and Zed, we'll just call him Zed for now, until we have him as a guest or something. But me, you, and Zed recorded one on Halloween, which was boring as fuck, in my opinion.
Yeah, I listened. It wasn't like, but it's because we were trying to be
You were watching the. You
not
were watching
politically correct or anything like that. We were just trying to not
No.
be outrageous.
No, because you were watching the boxing as well.
Oh, we was. Yeah, we were
Zed-
watching boxing. Yeah, so
Zed
he wasn't
was
really into
more-
it.
Zed was more focused on the boxing.
Yeah, me and him were both watching it.
And I was just kind of sitting there, just like
Trying to have a
fall
chat.
asleep.
Yeah. Yeah, so it wasn't great.
It wasn't too great, but that's the last time. I think that was also 2019. I want to say.
It might have been a bit earlier, 2018, something like that.
No, because that was after the first one.
Oh, it might have been. Yeah, we probably like late 2019.
Yeah,
then,
it was Halloween of that.
Halloween.
Halloween. But it was around that time, and then we just kind of went radio silent for a long time.
Yeah.
Until 3 weeks ago.
Are you kidding me? It's been about a month and a bit, a month and a half.
A month and a bit ago, and now we're back on air.
Yeah, but what? This is his question. What led us? Like, what was like? 'Cause you've not answered the question.
Us having a laugh about it in his concept.
No.
But that was 3 years
Yeah,
ago.
no. But, like,
What's
so-
happened in the past?
That's-
why we started this? This one, the Young and Naive. Is that what you mean?
Yes!
We have the equipment, and I think me and him have a good one-two combo, wombo.
If anyone's looking to join the podcast,
Hey, yo, what's the fuck you saying? Motherfucker.
right, I'm
we've
going to
split
give you the
50-50.
actual
Alright,
thing of it, because that is.
I've never met someone who can talk so much without actually saying
Bro, it's a
nothing.
whole ass podcast, motherfucker.
Yeah, with nothing. So the way it started was I originally tried to actually do this one with our mate Zed, but it never.
Named after the film World War, I imagine.
Yes.
Yeah,
What was
yeah,
it?
yeah, if you want,
If you want.
So I tried, and it never really came through. We always like said it would be fun to do, and it never really inspired into anything. So I had this name for about a year and a half, I'd actually had this.
What happens if you just still was somehow like sat around and you never made it, and eventually when you did make it, you were like 30? Because you couldn't call it Young and Naive then, could you?
Oh, I think I could have.
Naive.
I think I would look good for my age. I think people go, oh, well, he's clearly late teens.
Jesus Christ.
But no, so I had it as a thing for age, and I remember us having a chat about this, and you were like, yeah, it's you was like, oh, it's such a good idea. I'm glad we come up with it. I was like, we come up with it. I was like, I said, I've had this for about a year and a half, lads.
We're splitting this 50-50.
Yeah, no, like, I said to you, it's our. I said to you before, it is our podcast.
If you become communist, it's our podcast
Yeah, I
now.
said like it is mine and his podcast, but I said the idea of it was mine. I said like I'm not letting you have that. The idea of it was mine. I said I'm
standing court.
I fucking will. I said like the idea of doing this was my. I pitched it to you. It wasn't. You didn't think because we
delivered the whole pitch.
Not like a whole.
Sit down in like a business.
It was
meeting.
in this room. He was there. Like it was like a
yeah, and then we took our clothes off and got ready for the pool orgy that we didn't get to do.
Again, I was late for that one as well.
Yeah, it was a good one, a good turnout,
Yeah.
But good load.
Just continue.
Wow.
Continue, bro.
So we so I pitched it to him. I said I was speaking to him, and because we were listening to the old one, and I said like it would be great to him. I said like I've had this one I've wanted to do for ages. I said like I want to call it the Young. I think I said to you the name then.
Yeah, you told me the name then.
I said like Young and I. Yeah, you didn't like it to begin with.
But then he grew on me.
Yeah, because you realised like the actual because you
like a tumour.
Yeah.
It just grows on you.
Yeah. But
sorry.
But so I lost my train of thought because of that. But so we basically, I pitched it to you, right? And you were like, yeah. And I said you really weren't sold on the name. Really was not sold on the name.
I wanted a zinger name, but then.
I think you were looking at it and then you've realised the point of the podcast related so heavily to the name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. Do you understand why we call it Young and Naive?
I imagine because you're feeling quite young and
naive.
naive.
No, because the whole.
Is it like coordinating your way through life? And you don't. Because that's just a guess.
But basically, it's about understanding the world we live in.
Yeah.
Through other people's perspectives and way of life and stuff like that. So, like I said, we'll probably ask you a few questions about your lifestyle and all that in a bit. But I said, the most important one is having a laugh along the way. That's sort of like our little tagline. It's just having a laugh along the way.
Which I think is very important. I like to live my life through the famous Big Beat manifesto from Peep Show, which is big beats are the best, get high all the time.
Fair enough.
Should say for legal reasons that is a joke.
Allegations. But I mean, yeah. So after we solidified, like, you know what, let's do this.
Yeah, we was like, yeah, let's just do it, because obviously due to the course you're doing,
I have
the
facilities.
Bessex
the Sussex University.
Yeah, I would rather have this one censored now.
But
I mean, yeah.
Bessex.
But I think if they've got two brain cells, they're going to decipher that one.
There's a lot of
just put a lot of censoring in.
Yeah, I know.
It's just the whole thing's just a big beep, the whole way through. But just like that,
exactly like that.
So he was like, well, like, I can get the equipment. I was like, let's do it then, and book a room to do it. I was like, right,
might as well just go for it.
We'll do it. So then because
you can just sit faffing around talking like, oh, let's do it.
Yeah,
You've just got to take the steps to go and do it.
The next Thursday.
That Thursday.
Yeah, like I said, the next Thursday that come up, we were in there recording our first one.
Yeah, though I did run it by my teacher because I thought to myself, like, how can this also support me in a way, right? Because I, to be honest, when I told my teacher, I was like a lot more like, let's do this shit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if it is all leading up to my third year in this course, because it will support me a lot.
Yeah, because you can use it as a thing as well. Mm-hmm. That's what I think you'll get used to, as well as like interviews and asking questions and stuff like that.
If this wasn't supporting it, we would not be doing one like every week. I don't think. But I mean, yeah, like, and now we're here. Cameras.
All the way to the top.
Cameras.
We're still learning.
Yeah, so like we're like we're still
Would you say that you're feeling quite
young and naive? Is that right?
old and mature? Just tried to throw a spanner in the works because I can't repeat the same joke for the 5th time. By then it starts getting a bit old.
Jesus Christ.
I'm mature.
I'm mature.
Hey, but
Cheese.
we'll go on to you, Sean. So
Okay.
So is there anything you'd want to say to the camera, like explain anything about yourself first before we ask any questions?
Okay.
So we get like a gist of what to ask and not what to ask.
Who I am or whatever.
Yeah,
Sean,
because I said I don't want to ask something
Jack
and you
the
go,
Reaper.
don't really want.
Yeah. No, okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Sean Swift, and like we were saying earlier, I've had the most of the time pleasure. No, I'm joking. I've had the pleasure of knowing these two lovely guys for a very, very long time.
Too long.
Too long.
Way too long.
I live in Brighton at the moment with some friends, and I'm just back down visiting Bolchester for the week.
I'm really behind this whole decrypting thing. I think it's a tough nut to crack.
I know, Volchester. I don't know. The thing is that I always tell people this because when I've came back this week, loads of people have said to me, you know, like, how's Brighton? How's life like living by yourself or whatever? And the thing is that my life isn't that interesting.
Yeah, it's not
like, there's not an awful lot of like interesting things I can say in terms of like my personal life or whatever. Like I'm just some guy.
See, I think what makes like so like when if you like said like obviously we spoke Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I said like you say stuff about like stories from Brighton or stuff like that. I think the only thing that makes the story interesting is that it didn't happen like near us. It was in a different area.
Yeah.
Just like the story gets I don't know why it gets amplified so much more.
I think because when you're hearing a story from a place that you're not familiar with, you can kind of envision it yourself in your own version, as opposed to say it's from an area you know exactly
like
where
Bolchester,
it is.
yes.
Like Bolchester, for example. So I live with 5 other friends in a 6-bedroom house in Hove. I work at a company whose name doesn't rhyme with Fleich and Bem.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm.
You can say your company. So, you can't say your company. You know?
Just say
Oh yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So I currently work for some. For this company which may or may not sell clothes. We'll throw that out there. I'm an aspiring film director. I've made like short films before. I'm a BFI alumni, or at least I think I am. Actually,
What the hell is that?
It's like a member of the BFI, because I did a BFI film course a few years ago.
Yes, but the
British Film Institute.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if I am technically an alumni. I haven't really looked into it since I did the course, but I think.
But was doing the course, is that what made
That's what made you an alumni, but I haven't actually looked in anything.
I remember us all going to watching your.
That was actually so nice.
Because I remember. So for context, you obviously made a short film with a bunch of random people you didn't know. You didn't know any of them going in, did you?
Not really. I think a couple were in my course.
So you knew like a couple of them, but like you knew of them, but you didn't know them. Okay. So I remember you had invited us all to come and watch it.
Yeah.
It was like, oh no, we all can't go, all that, and so we was like, well, we'll treat it as like an actual film
premiere.
Premiere. So we all like literally rocked up in suits, everything, and mate, you couldn't write it. So me and our technician Sav, I met him in. What we said, Alsford.
Just the train station.
Yeah, well, we met him in Alsford. So because he said it earlier, he said at the school, it didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Matter. But so we met him there, and we were like, I got dropped off, and he was there. So I was like, well, we'll get the train up to Volchester.
Or just town.
Yeah. But so we were like, I had like just got dropped off just as the train was like pulling up. So I got to things, and we had to run to the train pretty much. So like we're running over the little bridge bit going down, and we jumped on the first carriage. So we sat down straight, like, so we were going to start walking down. Saw you sat down on our carriage.
Luckily I had headphones
Mate,
on.
literally, Haven, like, so let's say like me and Seb are here. He was probably the next seat in front of us. It was literally like he was in front of us. It wasn't like he was like down the end and thing. So we got to Bive.
Jesus Christ.
And we just got off the train and darted off. I said like
oh, you walked?
We had to walk to town because otherwise because if we would have got off at town, you would have seen us. Yeah. So it would have been ruined. So we had to get off
and do like a 30-minute walk.
Yeah, and walked up. Yeah. Otherwise you would have seen us.
Damn.
So yeah. Me and him were looking at each other like, shut up. So we sat the whole train ride in silence pretty much.
So I'm an aspiring film director. I've made a couple shorts before. I've starred in some shorts as well.
Have you still kept doing it since the course?
So one of my friends who I live with does a film course at Sussex University, and or it might be at Brighton. It's one of the two. I actually can't remember. And she had to make a short documentary about like a mockumentary sort of subject. Yeah. And I starred in that, and that was really nice because I kind of had to put my interests and my hobbies on pause to start like living my own life or whatever. Like I stopped like watching films, I stopped making films because I had to start working full time to financially support myself.
Yeah, because we actually had a chat with it. It was like, because obviously you're a huge film lover.
Nerd?
Yeah,
yeah.
I am a nerd. Like there's no shame in it.
Yeah, I just don't think the word nerd does it justice for how much this brother likes films. Yeah. So I remember we were speaking, and obviously you'd cancelled your Odeon thing. We were all literally like actually shocked by it because like you used to go pretty much every week, wasn't it? Like every couple of days,
2-3 times a day. No,
a day.
No.
Film junkie over it.
2-3 times a week.
Yeah. And then you went from like that to pretty much next to.
I think the last time I went to the cinema was March last year.
Damn.
Which is like it's crazy for you because you like said you used to go like
I used to try and aim to watch 200 to 300 films a year every year for about 3-4 years.
Yeah, and I remember like I'd message you and say, "What are you doing today?" "Oh, at the cinema." So, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
And unfortunately I had to put that on pause to start like working full time to financially support myself. And also I think I don't know if you guys ever feel this, but do you ever have like a passion for something and then sometimes you just get so burnt out?
Yeah.
Like the idea of like it used to be. Yeah, like it used to be really fun when I'd try and like draft up a script or something, or I'd like watch some films in my spare time. I used to write reviews for fun. But I stopped doing it for fun, and then there was a good few months where it started to feel like a chore. But I was like, well, I've done this so much, this is what I want to do, that I have to do it. And I think that being so that burnout being timed with me starting to work full time and having to like be a lot more time sensitive or whatever, because I went from at my old job I was doing 2 shifts a week and then I'd have 5 days off to do whatever I wanted. Suddenly I was doing 5-6 days a week and I'd have to manage like my evenings better to see people or to have time to myself, and I started getting just really burnt out. Recently, over the past few months, helping out my friend with like
you've discovered
her film work.
I've
kind of and like we've been watching films together that she's had to watch for her course, and I've been watching them with her and really enjoying it. And it's one of those things where I have kind of not fully rediscovered that passion, because again I still am very busy, but it's like something that I do think I should focus my future career plans on a lot more than, say, if you asked me what I wanted to do this time like last year or even like a year and a half ago.
Before it was just like, I remember speaking to you about it before, and it was just like just work, and it was just like, oh, I'd go work. There was no, you seem to have lost the ambition of, let's say, because before you wanted to do, like I said, film, TV, radio, like everything, and then it would go like, oh, I'd just work in a pub. The ambition side to you, I think, was lost for a while.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's something that can be said true to a lot of people our age, especially when you look at like the state of, like, for example, how this country's in, which, surprise, is not very good. People tend to get burnt out and lose their passions and interests and stuff, and I think because we live in a very capitalist country, you're kind of conditioned from a very young age of you have to work full time, you have to provide money, you have to, work for a company, earn money, buy a house, do all of that before you can really focus on your passions, what they're interested and what you're as a human being interested in, because there's also not many outlets in this world, especially in this country, where they provide ways where you can be interested in your hobbies and your passions and make a career out of it, especially with something like the film industry, which is notoriously difficult to get into. Or how many kids do you meet from a young age and they tell you, when I grow up, how, like, when you're young, or how many of your friends say, I want to be a professional footballer when I grow up? And then do you know the actual percentage of people?
It's like 1%. Is it like 1%?
It's less than 1% of kids who go to like professional footballing academies, from any tier, from like League 2 or like non-league all the way up to like Premier League. It's less than 1% of the kids in all of those ones who actually can make it into the first team.
It is mental.
Jesus.
Oh, first team. I thought you meant like into the club, but you mean. But
the
first team is the one where you want to be.
Yeah, or even just like into like the team as
the main,
at all.
Yeah, as a trusted sub or whatever.
I assume the first team is like.
Is the people that go out and play? Yeah, people that go like
known people.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's pretty much like all there is about me. I enjoy football, like music. I'm a huge music nerd. I just and I talk non-stop, which everyone seems to point out. I can just talk.
Speaking about
nothing.
the old football side, so I've got to ask about the old. This is fantastic.
Oh my God.
We discussed this on Tuesday. You're a part of a five-a-side team.
Six-a-side team.
A six-a-side.
Yes,
six-a-side
called
team,
Pathetic Athletic.
Which is I've said, I think that is a fantastic name.
Mm-hmm. And it's great because when we first started, it was like, if we turn up and we're all really good, then it's ironic and funny. But if we turn up and we're shit,
it makes sense.
Then it's like, it makes sense, and it's like, well, of course we are. We've said we're shit.
So obviously, was it the last game you played that had that score line?
No, that score was about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Okay, so I'll give a bit of things to it. So basically, they rocked up to a. Is it like you're in an actual league, aren't you?
So we use Power Play.
Yeah.
Or no, I think it's We Play Football, and every team pays about £45 a week, divided amongst the players.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
And you turn up once a week on a Monday, which is great for me because all the matches are after I finish work on the Monday, and I play with a couple guys I work with.
So it's like you'll just go off,
like straight from work, or I run home, get changed, and go straight to the football.
That's pretty mint.
And you turn up and then you play a game. It's a 40-minute match, 2 20-minute halves.
How long's the thing in between the 20
like
minutes?
5 minutes.
Okay.
But it's really, really, really fun. Here's the thing.
Right, so before you
we're shit.
So before you carry on, so obviously you know what game I'm talking about.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
I've got a little faint idea. Do you not know about this?
No, he doesn't know. I didn't tell him about this. So they were playing a game, right? And they went 1-0 down.
Mm-hmm. So we went 1-0 down, and I should say we played these guys before at one point as well, and they beat us 10-1.
Okay, that's pretty,
which is bad.
That is pretty
but then
bad.
about a month later, we had to play them again, and in that month, we had developed a lot as a team. Like, we stopped because obviously when you first start playing, none of us had really played football together before.
Yeah, so the
you're finding your
to
feet,
develop.
but we started to get more chemistry, finding out people's strengths and weaknesses. We started like losing less or losing badly, and the games were a lot closer. We could tell we were playing a lot better. We were scoring more goals. We were drawing more.
Yeah.
And then we go and play against the guys who beat us 10-1 this time. And we went into it expecting a loss, but we were like, but we know how much better we've gotten.
Yeah. And you're also there for fun.
And we're there for fun. Like at the end of the day, we don't care about the result.
Yeah.
Like we care and we want to win.
If you win, you win, then yeah. But if
we lose, it's not like I go home and my day's ruined or I'm like sulking about it. I go, did I have fun? Yeah. Great. Winning's like an added bonus.
So with this game, right? So they went 1-0 down. So the team winning by 1 goal. So you equalised?
We equalised.
So 1-1. So
and we were like, we're gonna do it.
So what do you think the end score was? Like, so obviously they played a month before. It was 10-1. They've got better as a team. So
we've equalised as well.
So what do you think the score was in the end?
I think they somehow managed to go back to 0.
What?
No, I think you managed to go back.
I think we managed to have a goal taken away.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I don't know how football works.
Okay, but that is surely you know that doesn't happen. I should say right now.
There's an offside rule, is there?
No, there's no offside. For people watching, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So try again.
Realistic guess.
I assume you.
So they can't lose a goal. They can't have a goal taken.
We're 1-1 about 5-10 minutes into the first half.
So it's 1-1. It's equal.
I think it was a major defeat. I think it was like 24-1. Was it close?
22-2.
Okay, so 22.
And we scored 2.
Mate, how
That's
horrific is
rough
that?
one.
That is like, as a
They
scoreline.
changed the league format for us.
Because they're that bad.
But also, I should say that the guys we were playing was somehow in our league, but they were winning every game by huge margins.
So
they got pushed up to the top league and were beating the league winners of the top league.
Oh,
So it's clear that there is a very
they
big...
can actually, they can play.
Yeah.
They can play.
Jesus
But-
Christ.
That was...
Mate, I imagine walking away thinking, going, right, well, what was the point of that then?
Well, around 10-0, at around when we were like 10-1, 10-2 down, I kind of turned to the other guys in the team and I was like, guys, I've got a feeling we're not going to win this, so just fuck it, let's just go for it. So we started just like pinging it from the halfway line, also go way off. We all just started cheering, being like, yeah. Ref turned to me and he was like, I love the enthusiasm.
Is he someone on your team?
Well,
Or is he one of the ones on their team that you know?
so my mate on my team just pinged it, and then the ref.
There is a ref.
Like the referee was like, "Oh, I love the enthusiasm."
Well, mate, there's no,
Scott,
there's no offside rules. I didn't think there was a ref. With
Yeah,
it.
no, but there was a referee,
Okay.
and he was just like, "I love the enthusiasm, mate." But
Yeah,
you're
it's
a bit,
done.
It's
It's
a bit mismatched or whatever. And I said to their goalkeeper, I was like, "How did you save all those shots?" Because we had like,
Is it like a normal football goal?
Regulation.
it's
Or is it like a
so? We play in about a third of the size of a regular football pitch, so it's quite like small, and the goals are kind of like just about taller than me. So I'm 6 foot for anyone watching. I am.
Yeah.
And the goals are like 6'2", 6'3", I reckon.
Okay, so because a normal goal is like 7 foot.
I have no idea.
So I don't know the normal size of it.
No, but it's everything's downsized and scaled down a bit. But it's
I was
like,
say yeah, because it wouldn't make sense having huge goals in
nets
such a
and,
small
like,
pitch.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was that's fun. I still haven't. I'm like the only person on the team who hasn't scored as well.
You haven't scored.
Jesus.
You haven't scored. Where do you play?
So at the moment, I'm our goalkeeper because
No one else wants to be peppered by 22 shots on target.
No, well, somehow it turns out that I'm actually not that bad in goal. I wasn't in goal for that 22 game, I should say. Maybe if I was, it would have been. Maybe we would have won 22-1.
Maybe it would have been 32.
Yeah. But I'm relatively decent enough for 6 aside. I'm not exactly a good footballer, but
but
before that we all kind of swap and rotate. So like someone will do 20
Yeah,
minutes in
I think
goal,
that's the best
someone
way to
else
do
swaps.
it.
We can rotate subs and stuff.
how many subs do you get a game?
As many as you want.
Oh, it's just whoever wants.
Yeah, as in it's not like we have like 10 people and we all swap them over. But say there's
It's like
like an
one.
extra person, they come off. They all come on if someone gets tired, and if someone else gets tired, they swap back over and stuff.
Oh, right. So it's not like once you've gone off as a sub, you can't come
No,
back.
you can come back on everything. So
Okay, I like that.
I've played all over. I've done my position at the best, other than goal, is probably like right wing, like a wing back sort of thing. So like
A support.
on the side, but defensive
yeah.
sort of like things. But I can push up if I can. Somehow I don't stop running, which I think is insane because I'm like the most unhealthy human being I've ever met.
I think. Well, how long have you been doing it?
3-4 months now, I reckon.
What once a week?
Once a week, with a
it
couple like misses in between.
Yeah.
If, like I can't get the time off work or.
Yeah, but like after that amount of time, you just build up a thing of
Yeah,
you get
I
used
mean,
to running. So if like running around for 40 minutes, like without realizing it, it's very doable.
That first match, I remember waking up in bed the next morning, and I thank God I didn't have work because I literally tried to get up and
just
like,
ate.
I was like, ah! Like it was agonizing pain. Like it was absolutely horrible.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. Are there any like questions you guys want to ask me at all, or?
I'm just laughing at it.
It's bad, isn't it? It's really, really bad. It's really embarrassing.
I mean, how did how did the football league even come about? Like with the same as the podcast. Like, how did you guys?
So I work with. No, so where I work, there's a couple guys there who I got on really well with, and we were all football fans. And I just kind of casually mentioned, I was like, would anyone be down to start like a 5-6-a-side team or whatever?
For fun.
Just for fun, because like we love playing. Like I hadn't played football other than like having a kick about with my mates in the park. Like haven't played football with any form of seriousness since like PE lessons at school or whatever. And I really enjoy it.
They were men.
Love playing. Like I love playing football. I think it's one of the most fun things in the world. It's amazing. And then next thing we know, we'd sent an email off and we were like, right, we need to get a team together. So there's 3 of us from work. One of the guys who I work with, some of his housemates joined in. We've had other people from work cover for us sometimes or whatever. And we just signed up and we were just like, kind of like with the podcast, we were like, we might as well just do it.
Yeah.
You know, we got a time slot that worked for all of us work-wise. Yeah, and it's really fun. And it's a good thing because normally I 9 times out of 10, I'll work on a Monday. So then if I work that Monday, I get to go to football straight after, which is nice because if you've had like a shit day at work or whatever, it's a good, like, and it gives you something to look forward to. Like, I'm sure you guys can agree, like, exercising, any form of exercising or doing any sort of physical activity is great for your mental health. Because, you know, you've both exercised and stuff and, like, do it regularly.
I can hear your
because obviously there was the Spartan fitness thing. You got. I don't know if you're still doing that at all.
No, because I'm going to gym. Well,
you exercise quite a lot, don't you?
I try. I do.
Yeah, and it is like
I go through like stages. So I'll do like heavy sets of like exercise like every day, and then I wouldn't do it for a couple of weeks, and I'll do like bits in here and there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be like massively like ripped. It doesn't.
Calm down, fella.
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean. I don't want to be like this big.
I mean, you have your mission, remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got a mission.
Well, it's not a mission. I'm not on a crusade.
Well, it kind of is.
So on one of our earlier.
The first one.
No, it wasn't the first. No, it wasn't.
I'm
the first
100% sure it was the first.
Well, you're wrong then. Because it was the one we were supposed to have the guests and they didn't turn up. It was one where we went.
I keep on going. Tell your mission.
I'm right, but
he's not.
I can assure there is literally video proof, audio proof that shows that I am right.
Oh, video proof, schmidio proof.
I tell you, go back and watch it. Extra view in the bag as well. So
extra 0.01p.
But I've said before, I don't think dating apps are good for your mental health. I don't think they are. I don't think they're realistic in the sense of like meeting people.
Yeah.
I said I think they can help, but I don't think they're realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I said I don't think it because I said to you, I hate texting.
Yeah.
I can hate texting. It's awful.
It's what I think. Communicating with people, it's a weird one because sometimes you can meet people like naturally and it's absolutely amazing.
Click, yeah.
But it can be the same with dating apps. I think it genuinely depends sort of like who you are as a person, what you're looking for, and just if you have chemistry with other people you meet. Because there's some people where you can text them and you click and you can get on with it. There's other people. Like there's like you always have to, sometimes you can talk to someone either in person or on text, so you've known them for ages, a dating app or met them through anything, and you can text or talk in person and you don't even have to think about what to say, you just riff off each other so well. And there's other sorts of people, and it's no disrespect to
some people can't hold a conversation.
Well, it's no disrespect to them because I'm sure they've got people where they can just talk to non-stop or whatever, and you just don't click. Where it's like you have to really think about what to say and you just can't get the right response or whatever. And I really think it does just depend. It's like a luck of the draw of who you meet, what you're looking for. Because if you meet someone on the same page about it, it can be absolutely fantastic. But the chances of meeting someone on the same page takes a long time. And a lot of patience as well. I think.
because I'm a bit of a terrible texter as well.
You are.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. Like, yeah, he is horrendous. So no, like you're just bad with replying.
Yeah.
Like I said, like you like actually like talking on a text, you're not that bad. It says your problem is replying. Like I said, I will reply, but I just don't like texting. It's just it's so bland and it's so thing. I said like one wrong word and it can be received completely wrong way.
It's hard to get like
the right
intonation and like cadence over and stuff via texting.
It's just a nightmare.
And like
really
intonation and like, for example, like sarcasm or whatever.
Yeah, you write something. I happened with Sav, our technician, the other day. We were talking about when we're going, if we go to the place up there after.
Yeah.
And it said obviously you need the ID to get the pool cues.
You just need any ID.
Yeah, I didn't realise. I thought you needed a student ID because I thought it was like it's obviously a thingy one.
Scenario, yeah.
So he explained to me, no, you need any ID. I was like, okay. So I wrote like, like as in like, I didn't know that. He goes, how do you not understand that? I said, mate, I do understand it. He goes, what do you mean?
Did you mean it like, but like, it came across as like,
Like, like what? Yeah, that's how he received it. Like, it's something as simple as that. It's crazy.
There's this incredible YouTube video. It's like 2 minutes long about some guy where he goes over how there's 48 different ways you can pronounce the words wait what, and you can just use your voice to pronounce it. No, in person talking, like just like saying like wait what, you can, and there's like 50, 60 different ways it can sound,
and it makes sense.
What it means just by the way you connect your voice. So for example,
really.
Yeah, so, well, okay, say I'm like mid-conversation, you say something that's like jarring or catch me off guard, I could be like, wait, what?
Like, yeah.
Or like if you're angry, you'll be like, wait, what? Or like all sorts or whatever, or like, wait, what? Or like, you know, that's the issue with texting and stuff, is that different sort of intonation and cadence in your voice can get lost or whatever, which obviously when you're not there in person there's not much you can do, and you can send voice notes, but voice notes are just so long. They're great to send, they're awful to listen to.
See, the only time I don't like listening to them is when I'm connected to a speaker.
Oh god,
because like if it's,
you have to faff about, disconnect.
If it's like, depending on the type of conversation, like, or if like anyone's about, like you sent me a couple earlier, I was connected to a speaker, so I was like, there's no one else here, so it doesn't matter.
It's fine. Yeah.
I said like, if you jump in and say like whatever, I said like, I don't, and I said it's also like you're sending me the voice note, not my house the voice note, so that's for me to listen to, no one else. So
yeah, exactly. No, it can
so
definitely
I got disconnect, reconnect my music, and then you send me another one and disconnect that.
So going back to what you were talking about earlier about like the idea and the theme of the podcast about being like young and naive and navigating through life, obviously you said about trying to, am I correct in saying that you were like about, hang on, I've lost my train of thought. Am I correct in that you said earlier about trying to ask people what their sort of like meaning and philosophy of life is, and like how they
like stuff like that, and like
navigate it and stuff?
Because we take more of people's opinions, I'd say.
Yeah, it's because obviously it's very easy. I think it's very easy to get wound up in your own opinions. Like I said, I've said this to you. I said I like to listen to someone else to think. Yeah. Unless I think they're talking absolute rubbish, then I'll tell them they're talking absolute rubbish.
Yeah, like Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Well, I have no way to communicate to him.
No.
But like I said, like if someone's speaking to me and I think they're talking absolute rubbish, like I said, I said with this, I'm not going to be scared to argue a point that I believe in.
Yeah.
I said like I'm not. But I said like I said, if we ever have someone that's very different or thing, I will make sure that they know that anything I say is not out of the way of spite, anger, or thing. It is just me.
Well, yeah.
Coming across as,
the thing is, as humans, every single human being is different. Everyone's gonna have different opinions.
Oh,
what separates people is how you react to opposing opinions and points of views. Because I'm sure we disagree about loads of things or whatever, but we're still friends and we still get on and we can respect each other's opinions or whatever.
It's it
can be small things like football or like films or media. It can be big things like politics or whatever. You know,
it's like my leading example of like how, like I said, I think you call me stubborn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You call me very stubborn, but like I am stubborn if I don't think you're making any sense. If I don't understand it in the sense of it, like if you can't make a way to help me understand it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit and say, oh yeah, no, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm not going to entertain it.
I think you're just like you have just like a stubborn personality in general.
Well, I can be. See, my mum thinks I'm rude. I don't think I'm rude.
Rude can sometimes stubborn can be sometimes mistaken for rude. Yeah, it can.
To a degree, but like I said, my leading point of like, because I'm very open-minded.
Yeah.
So like I don't, like I said, whatever is a thing, but my like leading thing is the is it polyamorous relationships?
Yeah.
So I remember me and you were in a citizenship class.
Yeah.
And we were watching a document. I remember saying to you, like, this is really odd. Like,
the Louis Theroux documentary.
Yeah, I was like, this does not, like I said, this is bizarre. And near the end of it, the woman, she was asked, like, explain polyamorous.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, she just likes a bit of other men or whatever.
Yeah.
But she said, I remember it, she goes, I can love my kids equally. I can love different things equally. Why can't I love someone else equally as another partner? And I thought, you know what? I can actually understand that. I said, I wouldn't do it myself. It's not for me, but I actually understand that.
I think like if we're talking about polyamorous relationships, the way I see it is that it's like as long as everyone involved is
Jerry. Do you remember Jerry from
I feel
it?
so bad for Jerry.
There was a guy in it, Jerry, believe it or not, who just very clearly didn't like it, but he
loved his wife so much.
He loved his wife that much that he was just willing to watch her just.
Oh shit!
With other blokes.
It's got to turn my phone off.
Yeah, it was like, but I said like that. That's when I'm like, the obviously relation. There's a program my mum watches called Sister Wives, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically all different women that are married to the same bloke.
Yeah.
And there was one that just separated from the man excuse me.
You.
But yeah, she was married to the bloke, and they split up, and she's had her first boyfriend since that relationship. She goes, I'm so much happier not in that sort of relationship. She goes, I'm not like against it. She goes, but I'm so much happier within the like a more traditional relationship in the sense. She said like it is. She goes, it's better for me.
Yeah.
So
I think it just works for who you are.
It works if you can make it work
as a person. I have no issue with anyone being like polyamorous as long as everyone involved is consensual. They know exactly what's happening and everyone's happy. Because at the end of the day, it's not my relationship. So who cares? Personally, I don't think I'd do it. But I'm not. But who am I to sit there and say to people, no, you can't do that. I don't like. It's like I wouldn't do this, so you can't do it too.
I mean, religious-wise, at least in Islam, at least.
You'll constantly have more than one wife.
You can only have 4.
Only 4?
Yeah, only
They
4.
put a cap on it.
But I mean, like, the thing is, they are very common in Saudi.
To have multiple?
Yeah.
But
the thing is, it's not as you think. It's not like all 4 wives are living with each other. It sometimes is the case, but actually no. And usually the husband that actually gets 4 wives, or at least it's usually 2, right?
Modest.
Like he would be either extremely rich or extremely like respectable.
Okay.
Because they usually have different houses, the wives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine like.
Yeah.
I said like imagine like in the polyamorous relationship you're there and like especially if you're like, because obviously normally it starts off with 2 people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then they sort of branch off to a 3rd or a 4th, or maybe like with another couple.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being sat in a room with my missus or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that I don't have one. Anyone?
You don't? Oh, hello.
But I couldn't imagine being sat in the room and like knowing that these 2 are in the next room.
Yeah. Or like being sat home waiting for your partner to come back, knowing they're with someone.
I wouldn't feel
comfortable.
Yeah, I couldn't like. But I said if you can withstand that and thing, fair enough.
Absolutely fine. Yeah, I don't have any issues. I think there's definitely, as I've gotten older, and I like to think a lot more mature than when I was a fucking dumb kid, as we all were. Like any person growing up is gonna look back at who they were even like last year, I mean, I look back at how I was last year, even this like 6 months ago, and I was like, I was a fucking idiot, you know. But I look back at like, one example I always find is when I was like 13, 14, I was very like, I was a strict atheist, and I was like, no, I was like, I don't like religion. I was like, I think it's ridiculous. I was like, I don't agree with it. I was like, there's no such thing. It's stupid. And I look back at when I thought that then, and I was like, oh my God, I was such an asshole. And I was so negative about everything, because you look at it and you think, how much good has religion brought towards in terms of like personal happiness for people? You know, people who can find comfort and content and acceptance with believing in religion. And who am I to take that away from them or tell them they can't believe in it?
See, that's always been my leading point of no matter my opinion,
if you're happy,
who am I to tell you not?
Yeah, if you're happy and you know no one is getting hurt in any form of way, then who honestly cares? And I really hate how people will use like extremists or whatever as like a reason as to be against things like religion, because I always think it's like, well, a bad person is just a bad person. They're not bad because of the religion they follow or like the media they consume. They're just inherently bad, and they can say that these things set them off, but realistically, if you're going to be set off by like a religion or a piece of media, if that sets you off, then fucking hell, anything could set you off, you know. Like, a bad human being is a bad human being, and that can't, and you shouldn't let that take away from all the goods that religion has put in the world. Yeah. Even if I personally don't believe in it, who am I to take it away or criticize it or slag it off? Because it's not my place. And, you know, I've met loads of religious people, you know, like Haytham, for example, who I'm not religious, but he absolutely respects that and gives my thoughts and views the time of day. So who am I to criticize your beliefs or your faith? Because you know, it's not hurting anyone, makes you a lot happier, so who cares?
Well, do you think it's better though to gain an outside perspective of your thing to see where?
Well, what do you mean, like an outside perspective?
Well, in the sense of, like, in the sense, because obviously you know, like, obviously my stance on religion, I'm like you, I'm not a religious believer. I said, like, if people believe,
I'd never take it away from anyone.
But was it not like? Does it not then? How can I put this? Does it then like does it make you not question religion? Because obviously that's never the intent whenever we speak about religion or anything. Does it make you think, that's an interesting point or an interesting way of looking at the topic?
Yeah, I mean,
because like when people explain to me Noah's Ark, of all these animals just casually all on the boat and they're all just sitting there asleep, I think there's no way they'd rip each other to shreds.
See, the thing is with religion, you gotta remember. The stories that you like in the Quran, there's two ways the Quran can be like split into. So the Quran is essentially, I guess you can say, God's way of helping our Prophet Muhammad cope with what's happening around him.
So I'm very young and naive to the old religious, the Muslim Quran. Faith, like the thing. Is the Prophet Muhammad like?
He's the last prophet.
But is he like a Jesus sort of figure in the Christian faith, or is he like?
No, Jesus is also in the Quran.
Oh, he is in the Quran.
Yeah.
But is he like another figure like that, or is he like his own?
No.
Like what made him the Prophet Muhammad? What was the?
What makes him important? You mean?
Yeah, like what made him?
Because he's the last prophet, and he's the one that spread Islam to half the world, essentially.
What do you mean by last prophet? Like what?
There's no. After him, there were
no one else preached.
No.
And what makes someone in the Muslim religion a prophet? Like, what makes Muhammad a prophet?
Because God talks to him. Because he had connection to God.
So he's a prophet because he can speak to God.
And
in the eyes of the Islamic faith, he can speak to God.
And he's the one spreading God's teachings to the world, and he's the last person of the Muslim religion who could do that.
So there's been no one after who's had a like one-to-one contact with.
I should
Yeah.
say that obviously, like I haven't
like,
read the Quran.
I'm
I
just
don't want it to seem
trying to understand.
Yeah, and I don't want it to seem like I'm like trying to like explain
break it down.
a religion that I
But-
admittedly don't know much about.
That's the whole point. Is the thing we're here to learn.
But yeah, that's the thing of it. Muhammad is the last prophet that God sent, well, not sent down, but
communicated
appointed.
But
as the
do
last
they?
prophet.
But to become a prophet, is it just like you're
It's
picked
not-
at random, or is it like did he do like lots of
It's-
good, or
It's just it's because God picked you.
But-
It's not.
but
It's
is it-
nothing special. It's nothing. It's just that's a person.
It's just the person God decided to choose.
Yeah.
because he
He's
would
not a
know
saint, he's not a saint,
he
like,
would
I
know
mean,
in a degree of what he would do
Yeah.
for Islam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it- he-
Okay.
obviously-
I can
obviously-
understand it now.
Obviously,
That's
Muhammad
explained.
was a saint. Like in the end, he was a saint. But essentially, the last prophet, and I've lost what I was thinking now. Yeah. So the Quran was sent down on the prophet to help him cope with
So
what was going around.
God
him.
sent him the Quran,
Yeah. So God essentially read him the Quran.
and he wrote it.
He didn't write it. His followers, his closest followers, wrote it after he died. But that's something else.
Okay.
So essentially, the Quran got sent down on Muhammad at certain times in his life. And
When he
the-
needed it, like essentially.
Yeah, essentially. And we in Islam at least, we separate them into two different things. You have the Meccan stories, and then you have the Medina stories. Medina stories.
With these nuts.
Right.
Sorry.
But essentially,
Sorry.
the Medina stories, right?
You're right, Tyler.
Let's just
Who's lost it?
give me a minute.
Yeah, so the Medina stories, the Medina stories are essentially seen as not orders in a way.
Is it similar to like the New and Old Testament in Christianity?
No, same book.
Oh, okay.
Same book, same everything.
So
But
okay.
it's actually I'll start with the Meccan. The Meccan like stories are something for him because
Like
when,
fables, like you can't
yeah.
guarantee their truth.
But stories
No,
with
no,
a message and
no,
like
no,
a belief and a
they
teaching.
were true stories.
Okay.
But like God told it to Muhammad for him to cope because the reason they're called Meccan stories is because when Muhammad and his followers and Muslims in Mecca lived in Mecca, they were getting terrorized by the Quraysh tribe. So it's that's a whole different.
That's the
thing.
whole plot hole. That's a whole like.
The Quraysh
That's
tribe.
not the right word. Yeah.
Like the Quraysh tribe basically owned Mecca. They were the tribe of Mecca, Quraysh, right? Essentially, the Quraysh were terrified of the Muslims because they thought the Muslims were going to take over their tribe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm
essentially,
with you.
and they were wealthy. They were a wealthy tribe. That was
See, all of this, is this like something you as a Muslim do you have to know, or is it
You
like?
I mean,
Or is it
Is
something
it like required learning?
Because like you
it
said,
would be better if you learn it because I mean God's gonna ask you if you read the Quran.
Because like you said to me before, what you said when you were younger, when you reached a appropriate age, you had to recite a few words. Was it? Like you said,
that's prayer wise.
yeah, but it's like
Right.
but it's like at a certain age you accept the full faith of God.
Yeah.
Of your that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
okay,
But essentially, the Mecca stories were things to help Muhammad cope with what was going on because he would get stones thrown at him. But when he just walks in public, his neighbors always like hated him. Like it was just stuff for him to cope with, right?
okay.
And then the Medina stories were essentially orders from God on what to do. Because at that time, they were actually in conflict with the Quraysh tribe to take back Mecca, because Mecca is obviously a holy.
The
city.
holy.
Yeah,
land.
it's the
Part
holy.
of the holy,
Yeah. So essentially, it was him, like God telling him, do this, do that. Essentially, I guess you can say a strategist. Like he was the best strategist in the whole of the Muslim or just in Arabia.
Because of his direct connection to God.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like that's essentially like the Quran is split into these two categories: Medina and Mecca stories. And the thing with I've completely forgotten what I was talking about now. What were we talking about?
What, prior?
Yeah.
I don't know, mate, I got really looped into the old thing.
Oh shit.
I generally got really...
Should we press pause and come back?
No.
No, it'd take ages to go through it and thing.
I mean, alright, we'll just lead off with this. But essentially, Muhammad was essentially like the last prophet in the huge line of prophets that we've had. So, and one thing that really kind of shows is that Islam, as it was so recent as like Prophet Muhammad died 1,440 something years now. So it was recent.
So I thought you were saying like that's how old he lived to. I thought, Jesus
No,
Christ.
no,
I thought you were saying like because of God's will that he was able to live that long. I thought,
No.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, so
Fair enough.
So Prophet Muhammad died in like in 600 and something AD. So it wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one reason why it's good, because every prophet from a lot of the religions that like Judaism and Christianity, all their prophets are also in the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
So they're seen as Muslim prophets as well.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
So we have Moses.
So all of like
Moses was such a king. Just on a tangent.
Yeah.
Fucking honestly, my goat is Moses.
There you go.
I like Noah.
Have you seen The Prince of Egypt?
Yes.
That film is fucking sick.
watched it in
The animated
history.
one.
Yeah. Oh my god, what a film!
I watched it a few times. Growing
I've
up.
watched
My
it
dad's
so many
obsessed
times.
with
I
it.
think it's
It is
excellent.
He is.
The
Dads are
the
obsessed.
bit where he splits the sea. It's fucking
And they all just
sick.
start. They just strutting
And
through.
that song, oh my god, the one with Ray Fiennes and Val Kilmer, where it's like, once I called you brother, once I did.
I don't remember the song.
I goes, it's
I
like,
mean,
I bring
been a
the
few
fire
years.
crashing down, I bring the locusts to sea. This was my home.
She keeps singing it. I don't know
Pain and
it.
desperation.
Yeah.
Your stubbornness and pride, I send a
He's still
fire.
going.
But
Still going.
I mean, like,
I still don't know it.
Watch
It's-
The Prince of Egypt
it's
because
actually
it's
technically
spectacular.
it's
Prince of Egypt
technically-
set us through the roof.
It's
So
technically
good.
haram to actually watch it.
Sorry?
It's technically haram to actually watch.
Is haram bad?
Yeah.
Haram's bad. Okay.
So it's technically haram to watch anything that depicts a prophet in an image form.
Right. Oh, what,
What-
probably that
what-
isn't.
like an
Is
animated-
that why there was all that controversy around that South Park episode about showing the Prophet Muhammad
Yeah, and
the Family Guy one because
Yeah.
they blocked it and censored it.
yeah, because even the picture of Jesus that a lot of Christian homes have,
Mm-hmm.
that in Islam we don't have that. What we have is usually just the word God, like Allah.
Yeah.
But it's like, it kind of makes sense in my opinion, because you can't really put a face on a prophet. You know where they're from, but why would you put a face on
I
somebody?
guess it makes sense.
I mean, like,
I can understand that
in reality,
because you can't guarantee that's what you look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one knows realistically.
Yeah, like a lot of like Christians say like, oh, Jesus was like a white man with black hair.
Yeah,
White
he-
carpenter. Who actually knows?
Yeah.
The thing
Like,
is,
bro-
that I'm convinced Jesus was real.
Yeah, he was a real person.
So I'm convinced.
All of them were real.
I personally believe that there was a man called Jesus who was a carpenter around that time who probably preached to people the teachings of God, but I don't personally believe that he was like died and resurrected or like
I don't believe
anything like that.
But
But
that's the atheist side.
But I do believe, because obviously all of like the religious stuff, they come from somewhere. You know.
I mean, like,
It's got to come from
here's-
something.
Exactly.
It's got to come from something.
Here's an interesting story.
Very rarely someone just makes an allegation about nothing.
Here's an
Very,
interesting-
very. Well, not an allegation. Sorry, that's not the right
Yeah,
word.
because that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting story actually.
I can't think of the right word.
An interesting story is
Religious
so in-
tale. I don't know.
in Christianity, the whole story of Jesus being born is Joseph, Mary gets pregnant
The
from
Virgin
God,
Mary, yeah.
From
Yeah,
God.
from
Yeah.
God.
It was
and
like he
then
sent down a
gives birth.
Holy Spirit, wasn't it, to impregnate her.
Yeah. In Islam, that's not the case. There's no Joseph, first of all. He's not.
Just doesn't
He's
exist.
not a
She-
deadbeat father.
Yeah.
He was just a bit of a
Mary-
cuck, wasn't he?
Mary was just a single woman who I think if I remember, the village always liked her because somehow she was getting grapes out of season. She was getting food and stuff like. Just
People thought she was blessed.
yeah, she was blessed.
Oh shit.
She
So
had
blessed,
she was very blessed, and like everybody looked up to her and like wanted to be as good as her. And then one day, after a while, she walks into the village pregnant.
Oh,
And obviously
It's a
at that time,
that's the thumbnail we need.
Sorry.
at that time,
thanks, man.
obviously back then,
That's the one that's
having-
for free as well.
having like a
Yeah.
bastard
Didn't
son,
realise I was playing.
having like a bastard son was frowned upon. Cause like who impregnated her? Who did this to her? Yeah, she was impregnated by God, same as Christianity. But here's the thing: when she like in the like in Islam, is extremely frowned upon to say that. Even to say I'm going to kill myself, that's frowned upon. Like even just saying those words, that's frowned upon. So when she said that, I think God like calmed her down and stuff like that. And essentially, when Jesus was born, she is the only person in the whole Quran who instead of like, if you go back to Christianity kind of thing, instead of the name being Jesus, son of Joseph, it was actually Jesus, son of Mary, in the Quran, and that's the only person in the Quran who's a female
Who was
mentioned, who was mentioned as the mother of somebody.
Oh.
You don't have that. The only time that would actually happen is at what's like the end of time.
Isn't that the name of a Doctor Who episode?
I don't fucking know.
It is.
You're the only brother that watches Doctor Who in this room, cheat.
But I mean, yeah, like the
Watch a
only
lot.
the only time
strange
that
amount.
would become
An
that
obscene.
that the mother would actually be named in, like saying the name. So like for me, I'd be Haytham, son of Banda, but at the end of time, I'll be called Haytham, son of Wafa.
Huh.
So stuff like that.
So
what- but
I
why-
would be Sean, son of my dad's name, or
Like right now,
and
or
then
in-
at the
in
end
the
of
Quran,
time, I'd
he
be
would be
Sean,
the-
son of my mum's name.
Yeah, essentially.
Huh.
That's
But
cool.
why does it change? Why does it change? Do you know?
I'm not 100% sure on that detail, but I know that for Mary's case, she like Jesus got given that title of
Son of Mary.
son of Mary,
Huh.
because she was blessed, and then when given a trial, she didn't give up.
Okay.
So that's why like she was blessed with a holy kid who became a prophet, or was a prophet even.
Oh.
So yeah,
Well, I think on
on that note.
yeah on that note, because we are an hour and 17 minutes in.
Oh wow!
So yeah, the more we keep going, the more we got to edit. So it's
I
it's
see.
a nightmare.
I see.
So you want me to?
Yeah.
Well, this has been in the Young and Naive podcast.
I'm feeling very young and naive
there
right
he is,
now.
There he goes.
Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and consider watching some of our other videos.
Thank you very much for having me,
Yeah,
guys.
no worries.
Have a good
No
one.
worries, mate.
See you later.
I'll wait until you cut the video.